Some saw the sun, some saw the smoke, some heard the gun, some bent the bow, sometimes the wire was tense for the no. We're caught in the fire. Say oh, we're about to explode. Carry a word.
Okay, so this is my video log for the Bank of the West Internship Summer 2014. I've gone through 1 week of work so far. Week 2, Week 3, Week 4, Week 5, Week 6, Week 7, Week 8, last week. I think I have a lot of great people to look up to and learn from. I learned a lot about what needs to be done every day, what it takes to run the office, what everybody needs. The main thing I think I got out of this week was I got to sit in on a phone call and conversation with Eric this week, and Eric called me into his office a couple times. Kind of just talked me through what he was doing. You know, a lot of time he was doing paperwork, but he explained to me why it was important to him. We'll see where the next, it's like 9 more weeks takes me. So we've still got a while. Week 1 done. Doug and David had a meeting in the morning, and I had binded all the presentations for it and stuff, got them ready for it. And the client didn't show up on time. I'm not even sure if he showed up. So I talked to Doug about that. It's just kind of explained to me how a lot of these guys don't have time in their schedule to meet with you, so you really have to go and pursue them and go after their business. Yeah, I guess I just kind of saw how business isn't easy to get. People aren't just going to come to you all the time, especially the bigger business. Awards calls. So it's kind of interesting to hear what people were doing to earn these awards and what it meant to win the award. I heard a lot of going above and beyond, described in almost all of the awards, so I think it had something to do with that, and then something more specific in how you're going above and beyond. So yeah, it was kind of interesting to hear how people did that and how much work people put in to their jobs. This afternoon I went on a client meeting with Eric and Cornelius. That was very interesting because I hadn't had any face-to-face customer interaction, or even any customer interaction. I've just sat there while others were interacting with the customer. So that was interesting. That was harder. So it was definitely felt like a different situation when you go to meet somebody face-to-face, and I think it means a bit more to them when I waited till the last minute to make the video. It's like 11 o'clock at night. Started doing a high balance sheet. which is useful. And it's interesting to see where we do the most business, and how we do it, and through who, and who's well established where, and like what areas are working well. So that was interesting to see, and I'm still seeing with it, and also getting the experience of kind of having to work on my own the whole day and not having somebody there to tell me what to do next was kind of weird, but it was cool. Scheduled to meet with a branch manager, the Lake Grove branch, Tuesday. Did a lot of input of information half the day, and then the other half the day I was sitting on phone calls with David, which was good. I think the best day was Thursday for sure, because I got to go out and meet with branch manager David Saltzman and also the area manager Rita, which was great. Just getting to hear from them and hearing their intent and what they have in mind for the bank and why they're doing what they're doing and how they got into what they're doing was really awesome. I really like their heart for people and serving others, because I see that a lot myself in other things. And so I being a banker would, people would be like, well, you're very money oriented or business oriented, but these guys seem very people oriented, so it's just refreshing to see, and it's very nice to see, because it's how I feel so far after that day. I just remember walking out with a smile on my face and feeling kind of empowered and lifted up by those guys. Past week I had a lot more time in the office. Really been working on the high balance sheet, almost done with it. Had to be used to sitting at a desk on a computer for 6 hours or 8 hours or however long I was there that particular day. So money with the bank, and we had an opportunity to have more money, but since it was such a high volume of money that we're not used to seeing with one client, it was kind of harder to move forward with it and do exactly what the client wants. And it was cool to hear what David had to say about that and be a little bit more aggressive with it, because it sounded like what maybe the others didn't realize is that it was only like 2% of his net worth. So it really wasn't that much to him. So it looked like a lot to us, and it's a lot to the PCAs and FAs that were dealing with it. But in the big grand picture of things, for that guy, it wasn't honestly that much for him. It was just a very small part of it. And so there was an opportunity to gain more responsibility and maybe have more money invested with the group. Is kind of big. Make sure you're looking big picture when you're talking to a client, and see how they're approaching things, and what their efforts are going towards, so you can match that to. Only 2 weeks left in the internship. Kind of sad. I really like working with all these guys. I've had a really good time so far. It's very valuable time that I've spent there. Welcome packets. Finished the high balance sheet this week. That was a big one. 2 weeks took to do that. A lot of data entry, kind of tedious. A lot of housekeeping things. Sounds like I'm getting some stuff done that is kind of it's important, but it's not. It's when David talked about, it's the important but not urgent box. So it's kind of like we eventually need to get this done, but it doesn't matter right now, so I'm not going to do it. So it's still important, so I'm more than happy to get it done. And, it's my last week with David in the office, and love working under him. He's a great guy, very good mentor. I just really enjoy his leadership and his style and how he runs things. I went on a client meeting with David and that went really well. Out of David's presentation was how to present the material well, and what approach to use. He didn't want to be too pushy on the client, and he presented the material for what it was. He wasn't trying to cover anything up or make anything seem a certain way. And he really thoroughly described the product and what it does in a way that made sense to the customer. So I think the customer got a lot out of it. Andy Harmony came and spoke. He's the head of retail banking, and a lot of the branch managers came in to listen to what he had to say, and it sounded like he knew where the bank was heading and just wanted to make sure he's pointing people in the right direction. It was a great time. I learned a lot from what they were doing because I got to see PCAs starting up. I got to see PCAs that were in the middle of their career, and I got to see how a market leader works and how a CSO works. So overall, I had a great time, and I learned a lot about people's everyday interactions and what it takes to do every day. As a parting gift, I got this picture that we took all together. It was great. I'm going to put that on my dresser at school. So outside of that, I'd just like to I'm going to go over the outline. Like I wrote, the first bullet point was understand how PCS / wealth management functions. What does it take to be successful? What makes an advisor good at what they do? What's their method? And what does customer service look like at this level of business? So I definitely could put a big check mark next to that one. Saw how wealth management functions, what David does, especially David, but also the other PCAs do to service their customers. They go out of their way to do other banking functions for them. Make sure that their service, not only in what in their product, but in other products that the bank offers, and their method is to present the client with a great product, but not push it on them. Kind of show them what it is and kind of leave it on the table for them to decide. Really depending on the product, because it's such a great product, it's hard to say no to, and hopefully earn their trust with the honesty and kind of upfrontness about it. I think that really helps them to win the trust of the customer. And then, customer service at this level just really looks like looking out for the customer, not trying to sell the customer on anything, but to service them in every aspect that you can possible. Really go the extra mile for them. The second point was to be able to comprehend and prepare client presentations. Definitely can prepare them. Comprehending them is a little different. I didn't get a whole lot of time to review a lot of the presentations I was looking at. David did go over some of the presentations and what numbers meant a little bit when we had downtime in his office, or we were on a conference call or something. So that was great. Didn't do as much of that as I thought I would end up doing, but it was the time that was spent doing it was still a very good time. It was definitely something that was a little bit over my head. It had to take a lot more time to explain, so I'm not sure we really had a whole lot of time to do stuff like that. So that was, I think, a little bit more relevant to exactly what they're doing in particular situations. So that was a little harder to generalize. And I got a lot more of that, comprehending things from doing all the trainings that I did. And that wasn't so much client presentations, but also just bank operations and regulations and things like that. So I think that's what I comprehended the most, actually, out of the information that I was given during the internship was bank regulations and how the bank works, which I wasn't expecting, but that was definitely an upside and something that I can take to wherever I'm going. create and learn how to create a presentation and what information is the most useful. So yeah, I did learn how to create a presentation. How's the presentation best presented? A lot of the time I prepare a pamphlet, and we'd have it binded, and they'd sit down and review it with them. They'd go step by step through everything, highlight things for them, make major points on certain figures. And again, that was just kind of like a lay down the basics and try to put it in plain English for a client. How does the information apply to the consumer? How does it affect the choices they make? So, depending on what we offer, what they already have and how old they are, really, or where they are in their life. If they're in retirement age, or if they're in the middle of their career, or if they're just starting out, those are all things that matter to them. So the information that you present to them could matter. Something that has a lower interest rate, that's more conservative, might interest somebody. Lower risk, something like that might interest somebody who's looking to retire because they want to have stability in their wealth, whereas somebody who's younger will probably want something that's maybe a little bit more aggressively invested, that has a little bit more risk to it because they still want to grow their wealth, and they're not looking to use their wealth anytime soon. So, what daily tasks were performed? So pretty much client presentations, and letters, welcome kits, phone calls, all that stuff. I got all that experience in, and I was able to see what it looked like on a daily basis, and that's what my goals were for that third one. The fourth one, do I see this being a career that I would enjoy? After this experience, would I enjoy my work if I were to enter into a work situation like this one today as a career? What are the pros and cons? Yeah, absolutely yes. I would love it. I would love to work with this team. I would love to work with a team that just feels like the team that we have here. Everybody works so well together, and everybody's really focused on servicing the client and being there for the client and getting them to their next step in life. And that's exactly why I wanted to do this. And I had a lot of affirmation from this internship, and it was definitely a great feeling. Pros and cons of it. Cons is it's definitely not the easiest thing to get into. It's going to require a lot of work, but pros is there's still a lot of payoff. It's a great career to have. Very pays very well, and I could have a good future in something like this. It would just require a lot of work. The fifth one, after this experience, what could I bring to the table? So what could I bring to the table to firms of the future? Would I be useful in a work environment based off this experience, and what is still ahead of me before I get to a place where I'm sure of a career path? So I think I would. I definitely think I could do what daily tasks that firms are looking for, and that other companies are looking for, or Bank of the West is looking for. I got to experience that every day and kind of picked up on it easily. I could definitely improve my Microsoft Excel skills. I learned a lot through the internship about Microsoft Excel. I also took a class at U of O about Microsoft Excel, so that was good, and I enjoyed learning about it, and I wish I knew more. I think that I would be useful in a work environment like this, because it's very oriented on face-to-face interaction with the customer, because you can't manage someone's money if you don't have a good relationship with them. And I love building relationships, and that's just what it seems to be all about. What's still ahead of me before I can get to onto the career path that I want to be on is definitely a lot more experience. I would be interested in maybe having another internship like this, if not again for the Bank of the West, or an internship with another company
such as like I already work for Nike, such as a company like Nike, something that is like a retail company like that, sportswear, clothing, or even the food industry, kind of corporate. See how that works. So that would be really interesting as well to see, to kind of make my choice and see what career is more interesting to me. So far, I've really loved the financial services industry. It's really gone well, and there's a lot of good people who work in this industry. So there's that in front of me, and also graduating from college. Obviously, getting my degree is going to be the most important thing, and even maybe going to get my master's. So yeah. Anyways, end of the Bank of the West internship. Kind of bittersweet, but I'm excited. I'm headed down to school tonight, actually. So, yeah. Anyways, I know that you guys will do well. Team in the Coin Branch, you guys have an awesome group, and you all are all great people, and you all have seems like great intentions. So, anyways, week 8, Bank of the West internship.